Hi there. Welcome to the Firestarters video series. My name is Steve Scheier. I work with leaders in cannabis to create what I term as leadership power grids. I talk and I write about power, and I work with my clients to help them tap into their power and, most importantly, empower others so that they can achieve their business goals. Our guest today is Bryan Lopez. Bryan is the founder and CEO of Maryland-based Brytemap. His company's vision is to be the leading technology provider to the cannabis industry. Bryan is a leader, innovator, and disruptor, and I'm pleased to welcome him to the show. So Bryan, thank you very much for joining us today. It's great to see you, and particularly thank you for squeezing the show in just before Thanksgiving, which I know is a big holiday for you, and I appreciate you making the time.
Well, it's my pleasure. Thanks again, Steve, and looking forward to chatting with you and looking forward to getting off to a great start for Thanksgiving weekend. So thank you.
Wonderful. So Bryan, tell us about your journey in cannabis, how you came to found Brytemap and how it's going so far.
Great. Yeah, sure. So we got Brytemap was born out of a lot of travel that I had in Colorado in the years between 2012 and 2015. And it was kind of I stumbled upon this opportunity. And at the time when I first kind of had that eureka moment, that kind of one moment where you say, aha, that's really something intriguing. I got to find a way to get into this business. I can't take the credit for it. It really is some other folks that allowed me to get to that point. The great thing about being in this industry, and one of the things that really stuck out to me, and the draw behind it was, it's a nascent industry, but there's nothing quite like it on so many different levels. And so the opportunity to jump into an industry that has really it's just being conceived now as we really sit here today and talk about it. It was one of those irresistible things. And after being in the technology business for 2 decades, it was an opportunity for me to go after something very, very different. And we look ahead to today and at 2021, and we've built a company from nothing. We're a revenue producing company. We have many customers. We're continuing to grow, and hopefully I'm doing a good job of empowering and inspiring our folks at Brytemap to put their best in every day. And it was just one of those wonderful moments where I got the opportunity to try to create a legacy, not just for myself, but for other folks that are a part of this company, whether they're employees, customers, or even investors.
Wonderful. Can you tell us a little bit more about the specific Brytemap product offering?
Yeah. So Brytemap was really designed to be a technology hub for growers, processors, and dispensaries. And really the whole idea around Brytemap is to centralize all of the data and all of the transactions that occur within a dispensary. Brytemap is designed to run and power those operations. And we are on a mission to complete a vision of having a full-blown MRP and an ERP system for the industry that these operators can rely on the Brytemap platform for running their operations on a daily basis, but also being able to derive a lot of the data and analytics that go into making better decisions for their business. So, look, we've got dispensaries across the country that are relying on Brytemap every day and every minute of the day to ensure that the transactions that their customers are running are true, and that they're reliable, and that at the end of it all, they're able to look at this information and make better business decisions about what they're going to do, into the future. So we're really a technology hub with a lot of different spokes that we're beginning to kind of branch out into with ancillary partners and integrations and things of that nature. So retail point of sale system for us and our e-commerce platform is really the linchpin of what we're doing today. And then our other product offering right now is that we have an inventory management and compliance system that's called Scout that works exclusively in states that use metric. So we're harnessing the power of the RFID tag on plants and packages throughout the country. And there's millions of tags out there being floated around every day. And it's our job to help operators account for all of that inventory and to make sure that they're compliant.
Yeah, that sounds great. And can you give us a customer success story, something that one of your customers has used your technology to solve a problem that's really made a big difference in their life?
Sure. We'll talk about an operator that has anywhere between 30 and 40,000 metric tags at one time that would be floating through their facility, right? Whether it's in an extraction room or a product vault. And it was taking their employees, let's just say, I think they were using 4 employees over the course of a weekend. If you think about that for a minute, you're talking anywhere between 40 and 60 man hours once a month to go through and perform inventory cycle counts and auditing. We've been able, with our technology, we've been able to reduce that down to one individual over the course of an 8-hour day and get 100% accuracy on the metric inventory and being able to locate where everything is and have that, reduction, not just a reduction in labor costs in a very exponential way, but also the accuracy, which is going to prevent them from any sort of ire of the inspectors. And that's our Scout product. It's a wonderful product, and we're really excited about it. And we're taking that product in a couple of really exciting directions next year. And we're really beginning to look at a lot of the analytics that exists with data points within metric. And we really believe that that's where a lot of the information should be coming from. And we're doing some really exciting things on that to bring a lot of that data out to the end user in a really, really cool way. Retail wise, we're doing some great things with customers where we've been able to see a customer that, is using all of our tools from e-commerce through point of sale. And we've seen 30, 40% revenue growth over a succession of 3 quarters just by adopting some of the things that we've done with our e-commerce platform, which is a customizable tool that really gives a customer a very customized way of projecting their storefront out to the world. And that's really a result of some of the pivots that we had to make during the beginning of the pandemic. So responding to our customers' needs in a very, kind of in a very unique part of our lifetime and trying to take that and create a better product for everybody.
Yeah, that's great. And one last point I just definitely wanted to ask you is what size company would benefit from, what sort of size threshold do people have to get over in order to find benefit from your work?
Well, any dispensary is a great candidate for us, whether they're big or small. Any dispensary could take advantage of our platform. And, there's different parts of the platform that they may or may not want to use. We come with a very interesting offering because it's not just a point of sale and it's not just e-commerce, but we wrap everything with a managed service. So we're taking care of network and firewall and some of the other things that may go overlooked. And because of that, really, all dispensaries can use our products. And that, to us, is a huge benefit when you're talking about being a small business owner and having to manage all of this technology within your dispensary, but being able to offload some of that to a service of qualified professionals that do this on a daily basis and have been for years. So any and all dispensaries. On the Scout product, I will tell you that in a metric environment, anyone that is managing anywhere between 1,000 and 2,000 metric tags at once is a prime candidate for us. Which largely represents the majority of what's out there today. So I'd say a 1,000 to 2,000 tag threshold for us on the Scout product is really where we shine the most.
Got it. And because you're not touching the plant, you can sell all over the country?
That's correct. We can sell into any of those states that utilize metric, and there's 16 states today that use metric as their track and trace platform. That's the state mandated system of record. And we're free to operate in any of those states.
Wonderful. So Bryan, how long have you been in business?
We started in 2018 was our first customer, got things going in 2017. And then really, full operations, we've been around for about 4 years now with generating revenues.
Right. And so you've built a company. How big of a team do you have now?
So our team right now, we are 10 employees.
Mm-hmm.
We also have a group of folks that are what I'll call a contractor base that we enlist the services of. And if you look at that number, we're just over 16 right now.
Got it. Okay. And so one of the areas of particular interest to me, and I know is something that you think about as well, is how we increase diversity in cannabis. So talk about how the diverse nature of your team at Brytemap and how that's benefited you.
Yeah, we're proud to have half of our employees are women, and I've got a couple of veterans on our staff. My partner Scott Denholm was a Navy veteran, served in the armed forces on, I believe it was the Carrier America.
Uh-huh.
When you have that level of diversity, you definitely get some different perspectives on things, right? And I think that having that really has bolstered our company in the way that we kind of come to a conclusion on directions that we need to go in, or looking at a different perspective, as I mentioned. And let's keep in mind, we're participating in an industry that is truly the most diverse of our lifetime. There's a lot of different interests and groups that are, fighting for the legalization of cannabis, and it's one of the more fascinating, what I'll call nuances to the cannabis industry as a whole, is the amount of diversity that you get from, all walks of life. It's mm-hmm. something that for us, for me personally, when I go out and I visit with people and I go to trade shows and conferences, it's fascinating to see some of the different interests and why are people there in the first place. And everyone has a different reason for being in this industry. Some of it is economic, some of it's business, some of it's social justice, but these are all things that are going to come into play as this country works a way out figures a way out on how to legalize it or decriminalize it and reschedule it. And so that to me this is an incredible social experiment that we're all participating in on one level or another.
Yeah, I completely agree. So let's talk a little bit about power. Yep. Bryan, you started this organization. You have watched it grow. As a human being, you've grown. What are your views about power? How do you use your power? And then how do you empower others?
If I go back to what I really started this company about, and there's not a reason for, it wasn't like I got into this business to start it for one reason only. I think at the end of it, the intangibles are, you want to create a legacy, right? You want to create a legacy. And that's what I really was after. It's like, I've been working for a long time. I have ideas and I have experience that I've accrued over the years. And I want to be able to bring some of these ideas and experiences that I've had to life, but in a different form, and be able to bring this company up and have it be something that we can all be proud of, not just for myself, but also the people that I hire. And so that really creates a legacy. So you get into this because of a calling. And for me, it was wanting to start something new for myself that other people could eventually help grow. And, that it was more than just, trying to make a lot of money in this business and to get customers, but you don't go into this and take the amount of risks that one would, and in giving up a really great career in another industry to start something from scratch from $0. There's got to be some sort of a fire in you. And that's one of the things that I've tried to instill is I carry a level of passion about me, and it probably shows up in just the way I talk and kind of how I am, but I'm trying to take what that is and bring it out to the world. That to me is, if we can be successful with that, then this has been this has been worth the battles and the sleepless nights and everything else that's kind of gone along with it.
Yeah, exactly. And so thinking about your team, how do you empower people on your team to be, to make more decisions, to talk more about what's on their mind? What are the tools that you have used or the methods you have used to do that?
Well, for better or worse, I've been an open door and for a lot of folks.
I can see your door is open behind you, actually.
Yeah, well, yeah, and it's slightly cracked open, but and maybe
I'm sure metaphorically it's much more open than that.
Yeah, and I have had a very my philosophy is like I want to be able to give people the ability to exercise some of their what I'll call artistic freedom to bring different perspectives and different ways to help grow the business. Everyone's got their own unique way of tackling a problem. Everyone's got their own personality. So I guess what I try to do is to be the diplomat and the traffic cop with all of it, and to take in all of these different ways of thinking and approaches, and somehow call them and come up with the best solution and the best mix on how to get the most out of everyone here, and try to balance that against the needs of the company. You talk a little bit about in the book about walking that fine line between being a friend and being a boss. Mm-hmm. And that's a very tough thing to do in a startup, right? Because you're really, you're going through all these things together, and you're really relying on the input of others to try to make the right decision. And I think it's the one thing, Steve, that has been the most difficult thing for me to tackle as a person and as a leader, is to walk that line. And sometimes there's a time to have your door open, and there's another time to have the door closed. And I think any leader, I don't care if they've got 20 years in the business or 50 years, you're always going to struggle with that at some point or another.
Yeah.
So I try to give the most I can to empower people and make the right decisions. Sometimes you need to have a democracy, and sometimes you have to have a more of a dictatorship. And I think you just have to find the right balance.
Right. So tell us about your goals for the future. What do you hope to achieve with Brytemap?
Well, we want to be a recognized leader in our space. And what I mean by that is that I really want Brytemap to be that hub of data for operators in the retail space and in the grow and processing. Brytemap, we want it to be one of the bigger players, if not the biggest player eventually in the cannabis world. And I think that what we're trying to do is to bring out so much innovation with a group of seasoned leaders on our team that have decades of experience. If we're going to be the one here that kind of changes the world or gets there and being game changers for the industry, we really need to stay ahead on the innovation curve and take risks. And that's one thing I'm used to doing is taking risks, for better or worse. We take a lot of those. We want to be the dominant player. We think that we've got a great vision for it. We think that we can get there in a few years. I'm really looking at the next 2 or 3 years of being the most critical time for this industry in terms of its growth and acceptance. And I really think that we're just getting started with a lot of our products. We've worked very, very hard over the last few years to bring our products to a level where we believe that they truly are disruptive.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Bryan, I want to say thank you very much for spending a little bit of time with us today. It was really great to learn about you, your journey, about Brytemap, and what your goals are for the future. I wish you the best of luck. And my name is Steve Scheier. I'm the author of Power Up, Essential Tools for Cannabis Business Leaders. I want to thank Bryan for coming on the show, and a happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Take care. Bye.